I am proud to say that no U.S. administration has done more in support of Israel's security than ours. None. On my watch, the United States of America has led the way from Durban to the United Nations against attempts to use international forums to delegitimize Israel. And we will continue to do so. That's what friends and allies do for each other. So don't let anybody else tell a different story. We have been there, and we will continue to be there. Those are the facts.
We are back. That was President Obama this afternoon defending his record on Israel to a Jewish group in Washington. It's a topic that Republican presidential candidates have used to attack him. They say his policies in the region have hurt the Jewish state and emboldened hardliners on the other side. But did one Republican go too far last week? Newt Gingrich made inflammatory statements about the Palestinians, calling them, quote, an invented people. How is the race being viewed in Israel and the region? Who better to bring in? Martin Fletcher, special correspondent, of course, for NBC News. More importantly, the author of a new novel about post-World War II England called The List. Good stocking stuffer, also under the menorah. He joins us now from Tel Aviv. Martin, one of the, I think, the misconceptions for folks that are only following Mideast politics through the presidential race right now is they're going to somehow get the picture that President Obama is unpopular in Israel. That's not the case, is it, right now?
Well, it's changing, Chuck. You know, when Obama was first elected, his approval rating here in Israel was in single figures, less than 10%. Now, the latest polls show that around 53% of Israelis believe Obama's doing a good job. There's been quite a dramatic change, obviously, in that period. And yeah, you know, there's this sense. Well, first of all, the statement we just heard from President Obama, that really sounded heartfelt, didn't it? There's clearly a serious sense among his people. They need to impress upon Jews, upon Israelis, and especially Jewish voters in America, that Obama is with Israel. And I think here in Israel, as I say, the sense is changing, and there is a feeling that whereas in the beginning of his administration he was too openly pushing for reform in the Arab world to the detriment of Israel, that's now changed, they feel.
Obviously, that UN speech and the decision to do everything they could to hold off that referendum inside the United Nations that the Palestinians were circulating was a big help. But what about how the Republican race is being viewed in Israel? For instance, the Newt Gingrich comments about calling the Palestinians an invented people. How many members of the Likud party would say something like that?
It's a good question. Actually, probably quite a few. I'm not too sure how many would really mean it. And I think that the thing is that, you know, by saying that, Gingrich became, I think he was seen here as a little bit more Catholic than the Pope, you know, more Jewish than the rabbi maybe. He went too far. After all, Israeli leaders have won the Nobel Peace Prize of Begin Rabin and Peres for the Oslo Agreement with the Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. You know, the Palestinians are a people. The Israeli government's official position is that there should be a two-state solution. They should make peace eventually with the Palestinians. So to say the Palestinians are an invented people, it didn't go down that well in Israel. The editorialists in the newspapers, a lot of the conversation among the people on TV was, it isn't true. It simply isn't true. Having said that, by the way, historians will say that the Palestinians, as a people, were a fairly recent concoction of Arabs. But, you know, I think it's gone beyond
pretty much the entire Middle East map.
The Palestinians are a genuine people.
Right, and
exactly. I mean, the whole map.
Yeah.
No, that's right. I mean, the whole map was drawn by the colonialists. It's almost all artificial, and the Palestinians are no more artificial than anybody else. But the key point is that the Israeli government has already decided openly and publicly and officially that a two-state solution is the way forward. So it didn't go down very well. It didn't sound very smart, frankly.
Yeah, I got to leave it there. Your new book is called The List. It's a novel. It's the holidays, folks. Check it out. Thank you, Martin Fletcher.